Hello and welcome back. What I'm going to be doing this time is we're going to be installing the Samba 4 as an Active Directory to replace basically a Windows system. This time we'll be using bind as a backend as one of the requests or one of the things that I've seen notes-wise and comment-wise. So I'll be setting it up for that. And we just need to do some changes here initially to set this system up. And we'll go through those steps and I'll try to document these uh, better than I have previously and try to keep it in a short amount of time as well. So first you're going to go through and change the name, IP address, the default gateway, some of the basic config files. I usually get rid of the IP version 6 from the local host or Etsy host file. And for IP version 4, I usually clean that up as well. And for the IP address that we're going to use, name. And that's all we need for that file. I need to do the network information. And just see the host name. Also going to put the gateway. Again, this will probably be different for your network unless it's set up with the same subnet as mine. And here we're changing the network interface on ETH0 to the specific static IP address from DHCP. And also the net mask. Also, going to do a quick update just to see there might be some new files since the image was created. And it does look like there's some packages. Let's update those. Clear here. And then we're just going to do a reboot. And when it comes back online, we'll start going through some of the other steps. All right, let's try to install. All right, clear this up again, and then I'll start up another. Okay, now I want to create a directory called sambamaster. And in this directory, we'll change to it, and then we'll get the latest. And it's downloading that from their site. There's the file. You change mode of this to read, write, and execute. Do a tar. Brings up to the top again. Just cleared it up. Then from here, we're going to run the config command, or configure. And do a self-test. Okay, configure looks like it finished successfully. Make. Okay, the build completed. That was not too bad. About 10 minutes for that. Let's go up to the top here. Now we're going to do a make install. Okay, everything looks good. All that's been set up, connected, and installed. So everything looks like that went quite smoothly. So let's do a clear here so we can start at the top. Next, we're going to do the command line to provision. Okay, now that that's been installed, we're going to be installing the domain controller with the Samba tool, and we're going to provision it. And here you will put in your realm. You'll also put in your domain, your admin password, server role, which is going to be a domain controller, and our DNS backend, which we're going to use a bind9-dlz, which is basically a dynamic loadable zone, and then we'll go from there after this install. Okay, it's going through and creating the databases, the SAM databases, the ID map, as well as the context names. Now it's populating the forest, as well as the domain DNS zones. After this, we're going to have to make some configuration changes to the DNS, but those steps will follow, and I'll have that also on the website at info.bing14.net. Just creating the GUIDs, and there, everything looks like it says installed. So far, this part of it is installed good. So the next steps will be going in to change the name.conf file and some other things there real quick. So I'm going to clean the screen up here real quick and then go through those next steps. We do need to create a random key file. So we now have the random key file located in the etc directory. Now we're going through and editing the DNS for the name.conf file. Obviously, we want to listen to port 43 on itself. Version 6 we really don't care about, but we can leave that there. But the next big thing is we need to make sure that we have the right information in these files that I'll be listing as well. We're also going to be inputting here some forwarders. Which for me is basically the default gateway. Open this also up to any. Here we're going to allow the key file that we just created. I'm doing an include user samba Okay, that should be it for that file. Now we're going to be changing the local DNS to point to itself, which is in the resolve.com. We're also going to edit the Kerbos file. Okay, right click that one, so those two files should be updated. Next thing is setting up the permissions. I'm just going to check to make sure we got the user. We're looking for the named user, and it looks like we do, and it's I guess you call it not really a GUID, but a SID, or not really a SID. I guess it would be a user ID would be 25 and the group ID of 25. We'll do a change owner. Okay. As for the key tab, we're going to give it 755. Okay, next, do since we built the Samba, we're going to create an init script. All right, we're going to create a Samba service. I'll attach all this to the thing as well. And now I need to change the read, write, and execute to this file as well. Let's see how our NTP service, if it's up and running. See if we can't install NTP. Okay, looks like that's installed. So our time looks correct there. So we're going to start the NTP service. Okay, NTP is started. Try starting our Samba service. Okay, Samba started. And, our named is running. Okay, going to be doing some checks here. First, we're going to check the Samba versions, and then after we check the Samba, we'll configure the DNS or check the DNS. And then after that, we'll make sure that the Kerbos is working properly. We'll check the config as well as make sure that we can get a token from that. First, going to go to the sbin directory. Up there, it's user local samba sbin, and we'll do the samba, and then capital V for the version. It's showing that we're running version 4.1.4. Now we'll change directories into the just the bin directory. I'll give you that path as well. It's a user local samba bin. From there, we'll do the samba client. Okay, I'm going to show you the directory that I'm in. Here, we're going to actually test the SMB client and make sure that it has the right version. And it's version 4.1.4, so it matches the server, so that's good. Next, we also want to run that same command, but this time we're going to actually run it against the local host. And here we can see the domain. Actually says it's a Unix OS, which is fine. It's Samba 4.14. Shows our net logon, our sys file, and our IPC $, which if you're used to Windows, you'll know exactly what that is. And you can see everything that's on there. So that looks good. So that part of it looks good. Next, we want to just make sure, I'm going to clear this and make sure that the DNS looks good. Here you got your name server, which we're going to make the local one, since basically it's itself. Here you could also put the static IP address that we gave to it, and then also the domain, and it's the bind-lib.lan. That obviously will be different for yours. So the DNS information looks good. And next we're going to test some DNS things to make sure that we get the right responses back. This is basically just looking for the service entry in DNS for bind-lib.lan. And we can see that does exist, and it's on port 389. That was for the LDAP, so now we're going to check the Kerbos. And Kerbos looks like it's there as well, which is all good. DNS is looking good so far. And now we're just going to check its A record. And it comes back with its IP address, so everything looks good DNS-wise. Next, we're going to check out the Kerbos, make sure it's set up properly. We'll clear this out. And we got the file, the KDC information. The biggest thing that we need to look at is the default realm. Right here where it says bind-lib.lan, it needs to be capitalized. DNS lookup realm is going to be false. DNS lookup KDC is going to be true. And then our ticket lifetime, renewal lifetime, portable true, and then the example of realms and domains, which those can actually be deleted. But we'll leave them in there for now. Now I want to check if we can log into the system. So we'll actually do a init administrator at, and this has to be capital, the name of your and that should do it. Ask for the password. That's that password that you set up initially. And it says that it'll expire in 41 days on March 10th. So that looks good. Now we do a klist. And it fetches the ticket, and it shows all the information. So everything looks good for the Kerbos side of it. So that everything's looking good right now. Take a look at the NTP stuff. Make sure we got that set up. It is running, so it's a good sign. Do a check config. And that will tell us if it's off or on at reboot. And as we can tell right now, it's set to off. So let's change that to on. And we can list it again real quick. And we can see that it's set to be on for your different run levels. So everything looks good there as well. And that pretty much concludes it. Everything looks good from this point. Next step will be actually setting up a Windows box, whether it's a server or workstation 7, installing the administrative tools, or if the administrative tools are already on there, and then connecting to this domain, and then using the tools to add users, add DNS entries, all that kind of stuff that you can do from basically a Windows GUI, and pretty neat stuff. But please check out information at info.bing14.net, and then I'll be trying to do videos. At least my goal is once a week. I don't want to put too many out there, but I also don't want to not put enough out there. So hope you enjoyed this, and again, you can get more information at info.bing14.net. Thanks a lot.